Red alert at Bank of America, a canary in the coal mine. The financial world is buzzing with anxiety and all eyes are on Bank of America. This isn't just another blip on the radar, it's a glaring red alert that has everyone from Wall Street to Main Street on edge. Things are not looking so hot in the financial world, folks. The stock traders are sweating bullets and the financial offices are filled with worried faces. The charts are showing downward trends that are making everyone nervous. It's like watching a slow-motion car crash that you can't look away from. Bank of America, one of the biggest players in the game, is flashing some serious warning signs. This isn't just any bank, it's a cornerstone of the financial system. When a giant like this starts showing cracks, it's time to pay attention. The experts are huddled in meeting rooms trying to make sense of the chaos. Remember those canaries they used to send down coal mines to check for danger? Those little birds were the early warning system for miners, alerting them to invisible but deadly gases. If the canary stopped singing, it was time to get out. Fast. Well, Bank of America is looking a lot like one of those canaries right now. The bank's troubles are a signal that something is seriously wrong. The employees inside are just as concerned as the miners of old, and the atmosphere is thick with tension. The bank's currency strategist, a fancy title for a guy who stares at spreadsheets all day, recently made some waves with his predictions. These aren't just any predictions, they're the kind that make you sit up and take notice. The spreadsheets are telling a story, and it's not a happy one. His name is Athanasios Vamvakidis, but you can just call him Doom and Gloom Thanos for short. This guy has a knack for seeing the dark clouds on the horizon, and right now he's seeing a storm. His presentations are filled with dire warnings, and he's not sugarcoating anything. He's basically saying what we're all thinking. Things are about to get messy. The financial news is filled with headlines that scream chaos, and the professionals are scrambling to find solutions. The graphs are pointing down, and the anxiety is palpable. Now, I'm no financial expert, but when a bank this big starts sweating, it's probably time to break out the economic depends. The size and influence of Bank of America mean that its troubles could ripple through the entire economy. People are holding economic reports with concerned expressions, and the experts are being interviewed nonstop. We're talking about a potential financial meltdown, the likes of which we haven't seen since, well, let's just say it rhymes with Shmee session. The memories of the 2008 financial crisis are still fresh, and no one wants a repeat. The stock market crash imagery and headlines about a financial meltdown are hauntingly familiar. The storm clouds are gathering over Bank of America, and the financial experts are in heated discussions, trying to navigate the brewing storm. Investors are glued to their screens watching the stock tickers with bated breath. The tension is almost tangible, and everyone is bracing for impact. History has a way of repeating itself, and the signs are eerily similar to past financial crises. People are starting to worry about their savings, and the headlines are filled with doom and gloom. The fear of an economic downturn is spreading, and the uncertainty is causing panic. The big question on everyone's mind is, what's next? The financial experts are analyzing data, trying to predict the future, but the answers are elusive. Concerned citizens are watching the news, hoping for some clarity, but the situation remains murky. Bank of America is in the spotlight, and the world is watching. The financial experts are giving interviews trying to calm the public, but the worried faces in the crowd tell a different story. The uncertainty is palpable, and everyone is on edge. Time is of the essence, and the clock is ticking. The financial experts are in a race against time, trying to find solutions before it's too late. The anxious investors are waiting for answers, but the uncertainty is causing sleepless nights. The storm is brewing, and the financial experts are in deep discussion, trying to weather the storm. The worried citizens are looking for reassurance, but the answers are hard to come by. The uncertainty is causing a ripple effect, and everyone is feeling the impact. The big question remains, what's next? The financial experts are analyzing data, trying to predict the future, but the answers are elusive. Concerned citizens are watching the news, hoping for some clarity, but the situation remains murky. Bank of America is in the spotlight, and the world is watching. The financial experts are giving interviews, trying to calm the public, but the worried faces in the crowd tell a different story. The uncertainty is palpable, and everyone is on edge. Time is of the essence, and the clock is ticking. The financial experts are in a race against time, trying to find solutions before it's too late. The anxious investors are waiting for answers, but the uncertainty is causing sleepless nights. The storm is brewing, and the financial experts are in deep discussion, trying to weather the storm. The worried citizens are looking for reassurance, but the answers are hard to come by. The uncertainty is causing a ripple effect, and everyone is feeling the impact. The pandemic hangover, a lingering economic headache. We all knew the pandemic was going to leave a mark, but nobody expected the economic equivalent of a 3-day bender. Turns out shutting down the entire planet for a year wasn't exactly great for business. Who knew, right? Europe, bless their hearts, is still reeling from the aftershocks. Supply chains are tangled like Christmas lights after a toddler got a hold of them, and inflation is higher than Snoop Dogg at a Willie Nelson concert. The U.S. isn't doing much better, with the cost of everything from gas to groceries skyrocketing faster than a SpaceX rocket. Remember all that free money governments were throwing around like confetti at a gender reveal party? Yeah, that bill is coming due, and it turns out there's no such thing as a free lunch, especially when it comes to government handouts. Vamvakidis' warning, decoding the currency guru's cryptic message. So what exactly did doom and gloom Thanos say that has everyone running for the economic hills? Well, let's break it down. Vamvakidis, a name that sends shivers down the spines of investors, has made some pretty bold predictions. His latest warning has everyone from Wall Street to Main Street in a state of panic. But what did he actually say? Well, he basically thinks the US dollar, the world's reserve currency and the backbone of the global economy, is about to take a nosedive. This isn't just a minor dip we're talking about. He envisions a catastrophic fall that could send shockwaves through the global financial system. The US dollar has long been considered a safe haven, a reliable store of value in times of uncertainty. But according to Vamvakidis, that era might be coming to an end. Imagine the Titanic, but instead of an iceberg, it's a giant floating dollar sign. The ship, representing the global economy, is on a collision course with this financial iceberg. The repercussions could be devastating, not just for the US, but for economies around the world. The dollar's decline could lead to a loss of confidence, triggering a domino effect that impacts everything from international trade to everyday consumer prices. He's also worried about something called stagflation, which sounds like a rejected transformer, but is actually a nasty combination of high inflation and slow economic growth. Stagflation is a particularly insidious economic condition because it combines the worst of both worlds, rising prices and stagnant economic activity. This means that while the cost of living goes up, wages and job opportunities remain stagnant or even decline. It's like trying to run through mud while carrying a backpack full of bricks. Not fun. Imagine trying to make ends meet when everything from groceries to gas is getting more expensive, but your paycheck isn't keeping up. This creates a squeeze on consumers, leading to reduced spending, which in turn slows down economic growth even further. It's a vicious cycle that's hard to break. Vamvakidis isn't the only one sounding the alarm. Many other economists and financial experts are echoing his concerns. They're looking at the same data and coming to similar conclusions. The signs are all there: rising inflation, slowing growth, and a potential crisis in confidence. These experts are debating the best course of action, but there's a growing consensus that we're heading into turbulent waters. Plenty of other experts are saying we're headed for a recession, a depression, or maybe even a full-blown economic apocalypse. The word recession is being thrown around a lot these days, but some are even more pessimistic, predicting a depression that could rival the Great Depression of the 1930s. The potential for an economic apocalypse, while extreme, is not entirely off the table. The combination of factors at play could lead to a perfect storm that disrupts the global economy in unprecedented ways. I'm not saying you should start digging a bunker in your backyard, but maybe hold off on that timeshare in the Bahamas for now. It's a time for caution and careful planning. While it's important not to panic, it's equally important to be prepared. Reevaluate your financial plans, consider diversifying your investments, and stay informed about the latest economic developments. The future may be uncertain, but with the right strategies, you can navigate these challenging times. Money printer go brrrr, modern monetary theory explained. Now, in the midst of all this economic doom and gloom, there's a new theory floating around that's either completely bonkers or a stroke of genius, depending on who you ask. This theory has sparked heated debates among economists, politicians, and the general public alike. Some see it as a revolutionary way to manage the economy, while others view it as a dangerous path that could lead to hyperinflation and financial ruin. It's called modern monetary theory, or MMT for short, and it basically says that governments can print as much money as they want without any consequences. Proponents of MMT argue that a government that issues its own currency can never run out of money in the same way a business or individual can. They believe that such a government can always create more money to fund public spending and pay off debts. Yes, you heard that right. Unlimited money. Imagine a world where financial constraints are a thing of the past, where governments can fund healthcare, education, and infrastructure projects without worrying about budget deficits. This is the utopian vision that MMT supporters paint. It's like that dream you had where you found a working credit card on the ground, except instead of getting arrested for fraud, you become the Minister of Finance. You have the power to swipe that card endlessly, funding all your dreams and ambitions without a second thought. The basic idea behind MMT is that governments can't go broke because they can always just print more money to pay off their debts. This concept challenges traditional economic theories that emphasize the importance of balanced budgets and fiscal responsibility. MMT suggests that the real constraint on government spending is not the availability of money, but the availability of real resources like labor, technology, and raw materials. It's like using your credit card to pay off your credit card bill. While this might sound like a recipe for disaster, MMT advocates argue that as long as the government controls inflation and manages the economy effectively, it can sustain this cycle indefinitely. Sure, it might seem a little shady, but hey, it's worked for the U.S. government so far, right? The U.S. has been running budget deficits for decades, yet it remains one of the world's largest and most powerful economies. MMT proponents point to this as evidence that their theory is not only viable, but already in practice to some extent. Critics, however, warn that MMT could lead to runaway inflation, similar to what happened in countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela. They argue that printing too much money can devalue the currency, leading to higher prices for goods and services and eroding people's savings. To understand the potential risks and benefits of MMT, it's important to delve deeper into its principles. One key aspect is the role of taxes. MMT suggests that taxes are not primarily used to fund government spending but to control inflation and redistribute wealth. By adjusting tax rates, the government can influence the amount of money in circulation and manage economic activity. Another important element is the concept of full employment. MMT advocates for a job guarantee program where the government provides employment to anyone willing and able to work. This not only ensures that everyone has a job, but also helps stabilize the economy by maintaining consumer demand. Imagine a world where the government can invest in large-scale infrastructure projects, build new schools and hospitals, and provide essential services without worrying about budget constraints. This is the promise of MMT, a vision of an economy that works for everyone. However, the debate over MMT is far from settled. While it offers a bold new approach to economic policy, it also raises many questions and concerns. Can governments truly manage inflation effectively? Will unlimited money printing lead to economic instability? These are the questions that economists, policymakers, and citizens must grapple with as they consider the future of modern monetary theory. In the end, the true test of MMT will be in its implementation. Whether it becomes a cornerstone of future economic policy or remains a controversial theory, one thing is certain. Modern monetary theory has sparked a crucial conversation about how we understand and manage our economies.